Hello and welcome back to Fallout 4. Today we're going to be doing something a little different. We're going to be taking a look at 5 mods released this month that I personally will be carrying forward and continuing to use in Fallout 4 until a better version of the same thing comes out, essentially. So, let's get started. With mod number 1. Now, these aren't in any particular order, they're just sort of free-flowing, so it's mod number 1, which is Higher Settlement Budget by Grimtech. And this mod is pretty self-explanatory. It raises the build cap in all of your settlements by simply using a batch file, which is activated by going to a workbench within the settlement, opening up the console, clicking on the workbench, and typing BAT settlement. This raises the build cap by nearly 3 times, I think it is. And for me, this was pretty important. If you've seen the base tours, which came out the previous 2 days, it was only supposed to be 1 video, turned into 2. But they were pretty important because I needed a lot of build space, and the normal game's build cap is not exactly brilliant. So I removed that, half my frame rate in turn, but this mod is pretty big if you want to build some huge stuff, or you want to build an actual village, or if you just want to build a lot, this mod is pretty much a necessary thing. And there isn't really a downside to this mod other than the fact that obviously it drops your frame rate if you build a lot of stuff, but that's down to you and your hardware rather than the game or the mod itself. It's, you know, it's on your end essentially, the downsides to this mod. So if you have a sort of more low-end rig and you're just being able to run Fallout 4 as is, maybe want to hold back on getting this mod for now. Wait until you can upgrade, because otherwise you're going to have probably a more difficult time using it. But moving on, we have mod number 2. Now this one is a little cheaty, and that is More Armor Slots by Abba Loves You, which is a lovely name, by the way. Now I say it's cheaty because it allows you to equip outfits underneath your armor pieces, which in some combinations can be rather overpowered. And this is probably because Bethesda didn't intend that to be how you use them at all. But it does look pretty badass when you walk around in your general's gear with a metal chest piece underneath, a metal armor wrapped around your legs and your arms, and it does look pretty damn cool. But the obvious downside being the fact that it's kind of overpowered, and it does feel kind of like you're cheating sometimes, and there's also the fact that there's clipping issues with some of the armor pieces and the outfits, because obviously they're not supposed to be worn together. But if you can look past the clipping and the overpoweredness, you can see the awesomeness that is this mod, and for the most part I generally just like it because I can wear a metal chest piece underneath my like big sort of overcoat thing. That's the only reason I got this mod in the first place, if I'm honest, and that's sort of the only reason I use it. It's not really to sort of cheat or anything, but I guess if you want to cheat you can using this mod, but I personally just like the look of it. And that's why I'm keeping it anyway. Moving on to number 3, we have another massive mod for those out there that want to build settlements, and that's Settlement Supplies Extended, or SSEX, by Troy Irving. A mod that for me is absolutely awesome and is essential to my Fallout playthrough, and that's because this mod adds, I think, 71 new furniture items, 80 new doors, 14 new interactive items, 228 new static objects, and 9 food planters, and an alternative power armor rack to your settlements. Now, all of these items aren't necessarily new, they're not made from scratch, they're all items that are in the game, just Troy Irving has made them into actual placeable, craftable items within your settlement. And this is huge, in all honesty, because this allows you to do pretty much anything you want. If you've watched the base building thing, base tour thing I did, which should have gone before this, there's a whole bunch of new doors it adds the vertibirds that the Brotherhood fly around, adds in new gates, new walls, it adds in a whole crap ton of stuff. If you want to build stuff in this game, it's pretty much essential, because this adds pretty much every other item in the game to your settlement, so you can just build whatever the hell you want now. You're not restricted by what Bethesda's given you. And the downsides for this, there isn't one, other than the fact that the build system is a bit temperamental and some of these items aren't completely solid. If you watch my base tour, the concrete walls do have Not all of them do. There's only, I think, one or two of the concrete walls that have a side that you can see all the way through, and I think this is probably more of a problem on Bethesda's side than necessarily Troy Irving's. He might be able to fix it, hopefully, if I point this out to him. He may never see this video. Well, hopefully he can fix it. But that is a bit of a problem with the mod, but other than that, this mod is awesome. There isn't really a downside to it. All the things it adds are amazing, and I would recommend anyone to pick up this mod if they like building in this game. And now before I sort of fly out of the room in sort of a fit of happiness, essentially, if we move on to the fourth mod, which is Craftable Ammo by Crick. I'm sorry for pronouncing your name wrong. It's KR1CK, which is a bit weird. Sorry. But this mod is pretty simple. And to me, this would have been amazing to have it in the first few days I played the game, because I ran into a bit of a problem where I ran out of ammo and stim packs, and then to fight my way through a building filled with ghouls with a pull queue, because Preston decided the ceiling was a bigger threat than the ghouls. But this mod is pretty self-explanatory. It allows you to craft ammo at the chem stations that you can build in your settlements. It allows you to build pretty much everything, from what I remember. You can just build whatever ammo you need. Obviously you need the required parts for it, so it's not just, go to the station, here's a bunch of ammo. No, it actually requires you to do stuff. It's not, you know, console command spawn in 10,000 bullets. You actually have to do something to get the ammo, which sort of makes it fit more into the world rather than just sort of, you know, giving you the ammo. It doesn't feel as though you're cheating when you do it through this method, because you're actually putting some effort in and crafting the ammo. And I feel like this should have been something that was in the game from the beginning anyway. Crafting ammo seems like a major thing, considering you can craft stim packs. Why can't you craft ammo? So that's a pretty essential mod for me from now on, because crafting ammo is something I'm going to need. But if we move past crafting ammo, we move on to the fifth and final mod for this month, and that is No Negative Affinity by Ricky Horror. Now, this is definitely a mod for the cheaters out there, but I got this mod simply to shut up my companions, because it was a nice feature from Bethesda to add that all of these companions have their own opinions on how you should act. But after a while, it just becomes irritating when you are, you know, playing your character, you're going around, oh, there's an item I want to steal out of that backpack. You can't do that with half the companions, because they're like, they don't like that, you've just made them an enemy. It's like, well, no, I just wanted to steal some bobby pins from a prick who I just killed. And now I'm trying to steal stuff, but the guy's dead, so technically I'm not stealing. It's just kind of irritating. So I got this mod to essentially shut them up, but you can do other things with this mod. The other options are a little more cheaty in the fact that you can... The one I use essentially just makes it so companions, rather than saying, oh, they don't like this, it says they didn't like this, but I think it's not a fuck was given, or something to that end goal anyway. But the other cheatier options you can get are things so when it comes up with a negative thing, that is instead positive, and you can also get one that I think times the positive amount by a bunch. So you can essentially just instantly romance all of the companions. But if I'm honest, just making the companions shut up about not liking something makes the mod pretty much essential to me, because I actually like walking around with some of the companions because I think they have really fun personalities. But it's really irritating when they start questioning my ethics. So before I go on my merry way, I'd like to point you in the direction of a rather nice retexture mod. It's pretty simple, and that's the black and white Pip-Boy retexture, which is probably by far my favourite Pip-Boy retexture I've seen on the Nexus. There's a few different nice black and white Pip-Boys, but this one is just nice and simple and doesn't really require anything to it. It's just nice and simple and really fits with my character's sort of stealthy approach to everything. So there you go, and there's a nice little mod on the end. I'm going to probably try and do that with all of them from now on, just, you know, a little retexture mod at the end, just to cleanse your palate, if you will. But thank you all for joining me in a run through my favourite mods released this month for Fallout 4. Links will be in the description, and you can join me for next month for my next set of 5 mods, and I'll continue to use in Fallout 4. And I'll continue to do this, hopefully, every month. If you guys have any other suggestions, mods that you think I might like based on things that you've seen, things in this video. Anything you want, just send them away. I'll take a look, see if they'll go in the next month's one. Or if you guys have different opinions about something, you think my Pip-Boy texture is not the best one, you should use this one, then let me know, I'll take a look. But anyway guys, thank you, and I will see you next time.